Initially, I was gonna do this a little bit earlier than usual, but some stuff came up, so we just barely met the, I guess, designated time for doing it. Well, that's cool. It's whatever. Um, just another week, It's just I guess the highlight probably was putting out episode 40, and that's pretty much it. It's just the news has been so slow, and I don't even, all we're seeing are these stories about the death toll has risen to such and such. It's been pretty boring. And I'm not trying to say don't cover it before someone assumes that's what I'm implying. I'm just saying that it was nice when we could get stories about other stuff. It's just crazy how after next month the virus will have actually taken over all of this year, or really taken over the majority of this year, I should say. Oh, Dara Tandon announced she has the virus, and somebody will probably get upset with me for saying this, but I don't care. There's a tweet she wrote during this is like maybe in the last 2 weeks that Sanders was running. It's from March 16th, where she responded to Simone Sanders on CNN. So Sanders' press secretary, Ronna Joy Gray, had responded to Simone Sanders, who used to be a Sanders campaign worker. Now she's a Biden campaign worker, saying that it was safe to vote during an appearance on CNN. And Tandon took this tweet and said, what is it? Let me read what she wrote. Is the Sanders campaign telling people not to vote on Tuesday? And again, I'm not trying to pretend that this means catch the disease and I hope you get the worst with it. It's none of that. It's just me saying that I find it ironic that you have these people who didn't take this seriously, and in some cases even encouraged people to put themselves in situations where they had a higher chance of catching the disease. But now they've caught it. Oh well, everybody, I've caught the virus, and I hope that people pray for me to feel better. And again, this doesn't mean I hope she dies. This doesn't mean I hope it's some prolonged illness. I'm just tired of people doing that. Like if I came on here and said we need to reopen everything. If you're going to catch the disease, you're going to catch it and die anyway. Oh well. And then 2 weeks later, everybody, I've caught the disease. Please feel sorry that I caught it. It shouldn't work that way. Like if you're going to endanger the safety of other people, and then your safety gets endangered when you become one of the people who's infected by it or affected, it's such a contradiction. But that's been the overarching point of the coverage of the virus, that anyone can catch it. So when you see those people acting as if they're, I made this joke before. Some people actually in real life. So there's a literary device called plot armor, and what it entails is that you basically are immune to certain. You're like the main character or some character who's considered very important to the story cannot have certain things affect them that other characters have affect them. Uh, so let's say in the story, there's a person that kills every single character in the city, but the main character is the only one that survives through it, even though they have no powers that can make them survive. They have basically the only thing that makes it to where it makes sense that they survived is that they're the main character and they must be part of the story, regardless of if it makes sense or not. And a better writer would just write them to not be in the city or write them to be immune to the powers that were used to kill off everybody in the city except for them. But this is what people in real life think they have: plot armor, where, oh, everybody else will catch this and I'll be fine and safe. And that's what this disease is exposing. Even heads of states and their wives are catching this thing. So when she wrote that message in March, oh, is the Sanders campaign telling people not to vote? She thought she had plot armor. Just 2 months later, turns out that's not the case. Like I said, I don't encourage people to have any health risk that I myself would not participate in. It's just not a good look. I've tried to be consistent on here with the things that I say and support, and it's unfortunately not something other people like to do that much. And we have had nobody show up. That's crazy. Well, we had one person show up. They love doing that thing where they come in and jump out. That's their favorite little tactic. YouTube's a crazy place because they're like, oh, I didn't get notified. I'm like, well, they have a feature for you to enable notifications. Just saying. And everybody blames YouTube for why they can't look something up themselves. Because that happens to me sometimes where I don't go through my subscription box where it shows you all the channels and what they've been up to. But I will occasionally go to some channel and just put their stuff in a playlist and then start to go through their content and attempt to catch up. Because a lot of times channels don't put up stuff that's that long by itself. Like somebody might put up, I don't know, 2 5-minute videos a day. So if you add it up, you should be caught up in like maybe an hour or less. People don't care. They just say one random. They claim that the website is this big evil monster that keeps them from checking out the people that they like. And there is some of that is going on, but at the same token, there are things you can do to mitigate it. It just sucks that people don't want to accept that. But hey, that's the kind of website we have where it gets blamed for everything, even if you can do things to curb it from doing the thing that you're claiming it's doing to you. Like I remember one time YouTube subscribed me to this person that I have never seen any of the videos of. I have no interest in the content of. Well, I take that back. I did see their videos, but I never had an interest in subscribing to them because they had too many opinions that I didn't like, and I just didn't see the point in, you know, being sub to that person. Like I'll come back and check. Maybe they have something good to say here or there. But I was subbing. I was like, I know I didn't press that red button. So I do believe that there are things the site does to people. They just go underreported. And I remember one time I was doing this stream, and I think it was one person. I was like, "Is did I put this on unlisted by accident?" That was a big error on my part. It's like, oops. People love to play those types of games. Oh. Anyways, we have a very important person whose birthday is coming up in a few days, and I'm going to see if I can put up a video relating to them, relating to their career between now and I think it's what, Friday, Thursday? Like really, really close to the end of the month. Oh yeah, and I'm finally getting on that Wikipedia video. I've got a script that's about 6 pages so far. It's probably going to be 8 or 9 by the time I'm done. And I'm going to provide with screenshots why I hate that stupid website. I'm going to talk about my history on there, the early years, how things just got so awful toward the end. The stalkers, the freaks, the frauds, they're messing with me, all that. It'll be nice because I really hesitated with wanting to, I guess, call them out due to the fact that I know that a lot of times when people put up videos about websites, they don't get that many views. But I'll make sure to spread it around and share it with people because there are a lot of people I realized who don't understand some of the background stuff. And I understand where they're coming from due to the fact that I spent several years using the site without ever being a member of it. And I thought it was just this nice place where people go and add information about some topic they're into and, you know, volunteer. But behind the scenes, if when you see some of the stuff they were typing to me, it's like about this edit was crud. And yet the one guy who was like, I am so happy people deleted your stuff on here. Oh, okay. So the edits are bad if they get deleted. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff you wrote is still here. So wait, if it's bad if it gets deleted, but then it's not good if it stays. Like I'm going. So it's automatically bad if it gets deleted, but it's also bad if it stays. Like you can't win with these pricks. But again, the actual video will be way more entertaining, I think, than just my little blurb of it. That's a teaser. It'll be out on Tuesday. No, they really surprised me with the way they. And I guess what's so crazy is when you see the stuff they write and just how insane it is. Like, forget an opinion, right? Forget me just, oh, I personally think this. They will say stuff on that site that you can go to other parts of the site and it'll contradict. Like I got told in this article, this thing is too long. And they literally have articles on that site that are sometimes double and triple the length of what I would write. And it was just mind-boggling. Like that they're really I'm gonna just call the video why I hate Wikipedia, but I probably should have maybe, I don't know, used the working title Wikipedia's Twilight Zone or something. It is a strange place. Like the things they write are just very crazy. But that's the good thing about writing the scripts now for whenever I edit a video because I can have all of the points I'm going to make with examples on the screen of what I'm talking about. Just like I was going to do a video about the lady lacking logic and how last year when I told her about why I didn't stay in college, which was because I couldn't afford it, this broad started asking me all these questions, was doubting what I was saying. And I'm like, ho, how can you doubt a man who tried to get an education? Like you show all of this skepticism about whether what I'm saying is fact or is as good as it got for me, and this is I tried as hard as I could, but then you'll show all of this empathy for some broad you've never met that chose to lay in the bed, open her legs, and have a kid she couldn't afford. I'm thinking of doing a video on that. Just like it'll probably be called something like uh, "Empathy Exists Only for Women" or some kind of thing. I mean, that was really crazy to me because they always do this thing with a lot of these people that you could consider downtrodden, especially if it's a chick where they say, "Oh, she didn't have a good environment, and she had trauma, and she had all of these." And then with me, it's like I sit here and I do all these studies and whatnot. I get into a university, I can't afford it, and then you just tell me, "Oh, well, you could have asked such and such a 10th time, and they might have had a different opinion." Like that's why I said I really get sick of talking to people about important stuff. I might have, if I do ever do a video just explaining what went into me not graduating, I probably will make the comments disabled because I'm just not in the mood for that. Like if you want to write something, go write it somewhere else. I'm just not in the mood for the craziness. And I realized people love writing wacky stuff on here. Like there was a guy on one of the streams who said, why, because I mentioned applying the, I think it was like 31 7-Elevens. Why are you so hell bent on working at 7-Eleven? And he says this after I mentioned that out of the 30 plus that I applied to, only two of them ever said anything back. And I said, that's not even half of the places I applied to when I was doing this big surge of applications each month. The point I was making was that if you apply to 30 of these places and not even several say anything back, that goes to my point of how there is this thing with these websites or these career oriented online sources where they tell you, we want to hire you. We can't wait to speak to you. But then when you actually reach out to them, they don't say anything back. So, my point was always forget that it's this particular place. Focus on the fact that there were over 30 of them applied to, and not even a tenth of them said anything back. So I said, I really, people will do this thing where they'll say, "Oh, difference of." It's like, no, but that's not. That is completely missing the point of what I was talking about. A difference of opinion. It is funny to have people pretend that you know I'm like this echo chamber. I said, no. What ends up happening is you have a lot of people who like Trump or Obama or whoever the hell, and they're allowed to talk about these people either on Twitter or on their Facebook or I don't know, amongst themselves. And you won't see me anywhere near them when they're expressing their opinion. But if I come on here and express my opinion, they have a problem with it. I even made this point that when you consider the fact that these are people who come to me and speak all disparagingly about what I have to say, whereas I never come to them and I don't care what they're thinking, which is why I leave all of their content alone. I don't go on their forums. It's kind of proving my point of how it's them having an actual issue with my position versus me having an issue with their position. I've really, I don't give myself credit for some stuff, but one of the things I have embraced is a live and let live kind of mentality with opinions. But the flip side of that coin is none of us have to actually listen to what someone else is saying. So just as I can go and click off someone's video, unsub, whatever, somebody else can do the same thing to me. And they have the right to do it. There's actually, I was thinking of doing this video on a guy. I'm probably not going to do it because I don't want to have my words misinterpreted. There's a person who covers a franchise. I'm not going to say what the franchise is, but he has 200, no, he has 2 million subs. And he got mad. He got so mad that a person on Twitter got, I think it was like 5,000 or 7,000 likes on a tweet where they claimed that he was only making videos for money, that he made a whole video complaining about how this person judged him in such a way. And I'm like, when I'm sitting here, I'm thinking to myself, whenever you have a page, whether it's 50,000 subs, 100,000, a million, and it gets to a considerably large size, you can't expect every single person who watches or has seen your crap to like it. And I guess with me is that I got really upset by the fact that there seemed to be such a itty bitty amount of support, which is why I would turn off the ratings and stuff like that. But you've got a guy who has thousands of people every day. Anytime he puts up a video, they all click the like button. They all leave comments. Oh, this was smart. Oh, and you got so much support, and you get this mad because one person wrote a tweet that got a couple of thousand likes. A person who is never going to be anywhere near as significant as you are on any website they're on ever. Not trying to pretend that you're not important if you don't make content, but this person is so insignificant compared to all of the support that this guy gets. It's really crazy. Like when I thought about the fact that Pacman, who I did comment on him, doing the video, people are never going to be satisfied. You don't have to watch my show if you don't like it. When I saw him make his video, and when I saw this other guy make his video on this person on Twitter, it like even these ridiculously large channels, they're run by people who just I guess, don't care about how much support they have. God, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, yeah, I knocked this can over. Maybe I'm just crazy. I think it's insane that someone gets that upset because someone puts up a post and it gets a couple thousand likes and you got millions of subs. Like, imagine if I had 2 million subs and somebody got 5,000 likes on a tweet saying Justin probably has never even had sex before. I wouldn't care because look at all the support I have. But he really got mad about it. He was like, "Well, I've never judged you, and you're judging me." This, like, so what? The guy that has an itty bitty account compared to you. And if you know that he's using your name to get more attention, why do you care? Just ignore him. Damn. I could never imagine me with 2 million subs, 800,000, getting sad because somebody wrote me some mean messages on not even on YouTube, because on YouTube they don't even, that's the crazy part, they don't even look at their own comment section on YouTube. You write some of them on Twitter, that's where they get all mad. And Twitter, the reason them getting mad on Twitter is so funny to me is because when I was on there for the last couple of months, I was active, so until June of last year, I turned off the notifications for the responses. So unless you were following me, the only way I could see what you wrote is if I went and clicked on your response and went to look for it. What I'm saying is Twitter makes it a lot easier to ignore when people are writing mean stuff about you than YouTube does. Which is why him getting that mad over that tweet was really funny and really disappointing. I didn't even get to mention the out of your league video. I was so happy to finally make that because I had writer's block after writing about half of the script. And then it just all came to me the day before I recorded it. I was like, oh, here it is. There's the missing half. Are you guys really going to let me talk for 20 minutes? Nobody's going to say anything? I'm just going to sit here and speak to myself. It's like what I said. What's the point of live shows if you schedule it and then people don't even show, or if they do show up, they don't even say anything. They just watch in silence. I remember this one guy, I used to watch his channel, and he ended up he had like a bunch of mods. So what ended up happening was that people, I guess, got scared to write a comment that he wouldn't like. So one day I was in his on his live stream, and he had a whole chat filled of mods talking to each other. And I was like, what the hell? Because even he pointed out, he was like, hey, you guys are dominating in the chat and no one can even say anything. Like, yeah, they don't want to say anything because they know they're just going to get deleted, you know? So what's the point? That's my favorite thing when they have the mods just talking to each other in the chat. That's kind of like how Wikipedia is, where you can only really get away and do big stuff on there if you're a mod. Like, I got a mod on there who's been stalking me for 2 years. And then I in one of the last things I did on the site, I told another mod who was indirectly involved in it, hey, this guy has been following me around on the site. I can give you multiple examples of where he's only edited pages just to delete stuff I've written. And this clown's response was, I know sometimes it can feel like you've been targeted when someone deletes your stuff, but that's probably not. So I'm like, you're just going to completely ignore the fact that I have proof. Like, I have multiple pages I cited where the guy completely ignored them for years until I added something. Then he deletes it. And then if I don't touch him again, he doesn't touch him again either. Like, that's not a coincidence. Damn, it's just, but that's why I said Wikipedia's got two types of mods. They have the pricks and the pussies. The pricks are the ones that go around stalking people, like that guy I just brought up, who will be a prominent figure in the video coming out on Tuesday. And then the pussies are the ones who just let them get away with everything. Like, don't stand up. And I guess what is so weird is I can kind of organically understand where someone doesn't want to have a feud over something they themselves didn't start or don't feel like it's up to them to I guess, take the role of being antagonistic toward the other mod. But basically, what they're doing is trying to be friends with everybody, so they can't call out or they refuse to call out malpractice, even when you have proof of it. Like every point in that video, I'm gonna bring up why what they say is contradicted by stuff on their own website, and how when you mention this to them, completely ignored. I'm really excited to make that video. It's gonna be pretty fun. So nobody's really gonna say anything. I mean, I guess maybe I could end the live show earlier then, since we don't have any commentary. Oh, somebody was smart. They left early. They were like, "Oh, I'm not. He's trying to pressure me to speak. I'm gonna run." I mean, it's fine. I set up the streams on Saturday to be set at a certain time to increase the chances of people coming, because sometimes people like to, I guess, claim that they wanted to know how my week was and whatnot. So if you don't want to say anything, that's cool. It's just a lot easier when you do one of these to, I guess, go off of what someone else is saying, like kind of, do like a back and forth. Oh, somebody finally wrote something. I don't know how to respond with emoji. Yeah, that's like me asking for a car for Christmas, and then somebody gives me a vehicle, like they put it in my front yard, but it can't drive. So you got a car, you just didn't get one that you actually can use for anything other than having a prop. Like you technically got your wish, it's just not in the way you would have preferred. I'm just so done with these websites. Again, outside of YouTube, I am like Wikipedia is still a good place to go if you want to get information about certain stuff. They have a lot of pricks on there. Like it is douchebags galore. It is just the buffoon hour on that site. I don't know. I think probably after Wikipedia, I'll do Discord, because they're problematic too. Although on there, it's less about people, I guess, being well, yeah, because they do share some of the antagonism. So I would say the three worst websites for me are Discord, Wikipedia, and probably Twitter. Because on Instagram, they do have a pretty good system of getting, like, blocking someone, and you don't really see a lot of the antagonism that you do on the other websites. Like it's just people posting stupid pictures, which is why it's the one that's growing out of all of them. I even mentioned that last year that Twitter is seeing its same users just keep logging in more, and that they actually have had a decrease in new people coming. So it's on its last leg too. Now, all these websites have a bunch of clowns on them. Only difference is that on Discord, people, like I said, people on all the websites act stupid, but it depends on what the site enables them to do. Because on Wikipedia, you can't block anybody, so they can just follow you around and stalk you all across the site. They're like, "Where's Justin?" I remember when that dude deleted my edit. When I came back, I was like, "Oh my god, go away!" And like I said, because they're mods, they get away with it because the other mods are too cowardly to, you know, actually confront another one of their colleagues. I stopped by to see what the topic was. Now I have to. I'm speaking for the rest of the stream in Japanese. Let me get my Google Translator, pull it out, and address you as Mr. Urban World San or something. I just got back from Tokyo. My next stream, I'm gonna wear a kimono. And have like this the wall's already white. I'm gonna paint a big red circle on the back. I got the flag wall. Oh. Akihabara. I just came in to see what the topic was. What's the topic? I don't know. I was just talking about all kind of stuff. Now, what other websites really bad? Oh yeah, with Discord, they're creepy because you have people who you won't even talk to for like a year or two or whatever, and then they'll send you a friend request and they'll try to start drama with you in other servers. I'm like, go away, just vanish. That's why, like, I got to a point where I just left other people's servers because um, it's basically a popularity contest, and you can get banned over pretty much anything from someone's server. There was actually a guy that kicked out, I think it was 60 or 70 people from a server because he thought we were spies or one of us was a spy. And then what was funny is that there actually was a spy in there and they managed to not get kicked. So, like, you just kicked out all these people that weren't doing anything to you. And the guy that's actually screenshotting your trash and putting it on YouTube is still in there. Good job. Yeah, I thought spies were in my server. I gotta get rid of them. You would really think they believe they're like Martin Luther King and the rest of us are the FBI. Like we're all just sitting in an office trying to make sure we get screenshots of your stuff and then you vanish and then it vanishes and we're like, oh. Because if I was really a spy, I would make multiple accounts to go in someone's. I don't care. Like, just go away. So I said these people are like servers are basically they're a good example of people's self-destructive behavior. Because I've seen some people who had servers and they like run everybody out of them, or they make it to where like it's run by someone who what's a good word for it, doesn't adhere to the advice and opinions of the people in it. So they basically tell them to get lost, and then after enough people leave, they just shut it down or close or delete it. I'm very flattered, Urban World. Oh, wait a second. I just realized you haven't left a comment on any video by me in I think 2 or 3 months. So now that you've shown up on my stream, I can curse you out for your extended leave of absence from commenting on my content. Let me get my glossary of bad words out. Let me start saying these expletives. He's a liar. He told me I was smart, but he didn't click the like button ever. No, I know how it is. People, I don't know, they just don't want it, and that's why I said that I turned the stuff off because the only people who ever want to do something are the ones who don't like it. If I go to a video and it's been up for maybe like a minute, it's always someone who doesn't like it saying this video is stupid. I don't like it, but then someone who likes it will either not comment or They won't click the like. I'm just all right. To hell with it. You can't win sometimes. So it is what it is. No, it's just really insane that you'll get on these websites and people will just like I remember I was in this one server and I think I mentioned this before. There was a broad who reported me because of a question I asked her. And when I've told people the question, they sometimes actually assumed I was lying because like to this day I will never think what I did was bad or a big deal or evil or whatever. The question I asked this person, the question that made them choose to never to what do you call it, report me to a mod was what are your interests? When that mod sent me the message and they said that this person was uncomfortable because of the question you asked them, I almost peed on myself. Like it was that was the first sign that Discord was yeah. What Urban World? What are your interests? I got to go report him. I couldn't believe it. And I love it that when they try to report you and they try to do it in private, because I used to not really talk to any people on that site. So every time in the server, and we were like, this happened twice where they would like try to get a mod to speak to me. The mod would be like, this someone is saying that you did. I'd be like, I know who someone is. They're lying or they're blowing things out of context. Like I said, my views on people are a product of the way I've been treated. So if I've been treated well by a website, I will speak positively about it. If I've been treated poorly by it, I'll tell it to go piss itself. Like Facebook, actually, I haven't really ever had an issue with for the most part. Like really, I'd probably say I'll talk positively, even though I don't use it as much as I used to. Yeah, simple, harmless question, but you know, people blow things out of proportion online. You know that. Reading, gaming, watching anime. Yeah, well, you wouldn't instead of answering the simple question that people ask if they're trying to get to know someone, you'll say I'm harassing you and this makes you so uncomfortable and I reached my hand through your screen and grabbed you in your private area. It's just it's dumb. Hey, remember what the clowns on here said that I was we call it secretly gay, but then there were other ones who were saying I was going to be a rapist. Like I'm going to rape chicks, but I'm also at the same time homosexual. I'm like I'm like a what do you call it? A sexual version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, straight by day, gay at night. They can't figure out what my sexuality is, and that ain't right. Oh my god. And they wrote all that crazy stuff just because I said I don't talk to chicks anymore. Like if I got on here and said they won't date me, they should die. Okay, I get that. You know that would be rather extreme. But somebody saying, "Hey, I had bad experiences with this group of people, and while I don't think they're all the same, enough of them have done the same thing to where I'm not interested in finding the needle in the haystack that's not acting the same way." And they went crazy. Like that one viral video, they were writing all kind of insane stuff. People are easily triggered these days. Hell, a girl I went to school with called me a sexist for asking if she's a good cook. Yeah, people, you know, they get upset over everything. But I can guarantee you, Mr. Urban World, if you said, I bet your cooking tastes like booty, she would have been upset too. So it's the same thing. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, you can't win sometimes. And that's one of the things I never realized about Wikipedia until probably like the last year or two, where it's just you can sit here, you can make good points, you can make points that you can at least prove, and they still will stick to whatever their position was. People are just pricks. They have no empathy. So whenever something happens to you, oh well, too bad. Suck it up. Get over it. Like I said, when you see the stuff that was written to me and what was done on Wikipedia, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because they're just that site by itself is one thing, but it's part of a larger problem with the way people act on the internet. Like they'll say one thing and do the opposite. Like remember the broad who told me that she wouldn't go on a date with me because what was it? She wasn't attracted to me, but then she had sex with the guy that she admitted she didn't love or feel anything for. Now that isn't crazy. I don't know what. And then after getting called out on this, she was like, "Well, I really did love him as a friend." Yeah, but you say he's just a friend. But you say he's just a friend. Yeah, as a friend. So that's what we do. We all with every friend we have, we just have sex with them. No, she's stupid. Oh, but that's the way a lot of people operate nowadays. They say one thing, do the opposite. And again, my like forget the friend thing, right? But you're saying that you have to be doing like to do romantic crap with you, you have to feel something for that person, but then you admit that the guy that you banged that you didn't even. Oh my god, it's like you won't go on a date with someone who you don't feel anything for, but you'll expose yourself to getting possibly an STD, possibly knocked up, or with someone that you don't feel anything for. So I said I live in the twilight zone. She didn't have what I needed, not at all. So I said I'm just kind of in a low period with a lot of these groups. Like I really want to get to a point where I don't use any of these websites other than to maybe post something, and then I just make stuff because like too many of these interactions are dumb. Like, when I did the dead weight friends thing, for example, that was about a guy who I had stopped speaking to 6 months ago, and me getting called at 3 in the morning on a Monday, which if this was a regular working thing, we would that would be a problem. But me getting called at that early hour of the day by some people who were upset with this same person and had been upset with that same person for as long as I had been at least, and still spoke to him month after month, day after day, week after week anyway. I believe social media ruined the personalities of women too. They judge you on how many followers you have and how much money you make. Well, you remember what I said, Urban World, how like they'll call me sexist for saying I'm done talking to chicks because apparently I'm assuming they're all the same. But then some dude getting on here and saying you need to have six figures to get with the broad isn't sexist for saying that. Like basically they're indirectly implying with that comment that all of them are only interested in men who have some inordinate amount of money. If you get how hypocritical that is. Oh, Envoy finally showed up. Praise the Lord. Yeah, Envoy, I'm getting on Wikipedia on Tuesday. I'm gonna stick my that video up in a few days because these clowns. I had a brief resurgence this month, and the purpose of it was I was trying to see if I did things a little bit differently, if it would matter, and it did not at all. I just got more frustrated. Yeah, Envoy, I'm gonna talk about all the stupid stuff on there that people don't know about. I've been an editor on that site uh, for 9 years, and the last three have been rifled or just crammed with crazy, weird things they've done. I've had people stalk me on there. I've had people delete a bunch of stuff because they feel like it. Damn, like go away. You see, oh, you're making a video. That's great. Now, I guarantee you, if you're not a user on there, you haven't heard of some of the stuff that's there. Yeah, they don't notify anybody. I think Megumi must have. He probably saw the "She's Out of Your League" video. Envoy, when I got on that site and was on there for, I think, like, it was around 2015 when they started acting crazy. Like I was on there for a long time, and there was just no issue where, in hindsight, I can say that's ridiculous. Like they were wrong. Like every time I got in trouble on there, which wasn't that often because I didn't edit as much, it was always my fault. Like they had a policy where you can't put up pictures that are not public domain, and I put up pictures that were not. Again, I was in high school at the time. I'm just saying that those are the kinds of things where, from a policy standpoint, I can say, yeah, I was in the wrong. But all the stuff they've done since then, no. It's just somebody doesn't like something, so they got to delete it or mess with it or whatever. Shaking my head. Yeah, Urban World in the 80s, you didn't have to put up with social media. And I hate that people, like, every time I do a video about how screwed up chicks are, a good chunk of them anyway in the modern era are, people go, they were always like this. This isn't new. I'm like, dingbat, we have data that backs us. We can look at divorce rates. There was an article that came out this week on The Hill about the birth rate being at a 35-year low. Matter of fact, I'll put it in here since people don't like to believe me when I have proof of what I say. Give me a second. I'm gonna grab that. Now people are like, "Oh, this is you're just trying to make it seem like the new ones are different from the old ones." Like, no, idiot, they are. Here it is. U.S. birth rate hits 35-year low. I'm definitely doing a video on that. It's not because people don't have money, because you saw that dingbat with the baby had a. She managed to find a dude that was poor too and screw. So it's just chicks have a big, huge amount of standards, and if you don't meet them, hey, tough crap. It's her, the lady lacking logic. All of them get mentioned just repeatedly. Hey, Megumi, do you think it makes sense to not have what do you call it? To have skepticism when a man tells you he didn't finish college because he couldn't afford it, but to completely have empathy for a broad that opened her legs and had a kid she knew she couldn't afford? Oh yeah, they're already making drones, Urban World. Those things are on their way. Well, I gave Wikipedia a title the month before I stopped editing regularly, which was October. It was called Wiki Piss, and that's basically my new name for it. Or Wiki Pissia, Wiki Poop, Wiki Plague. Well, that's what the lady lacking logic did. I go, oh, I couldn't afford this. I got a new university, and I asked multiple relatives to help me pay for it in multiple conversations, which ended with none of them being willing to do so out of the ones that could afford it. And this person's response was, "Well, there must have been something you could have done or said." And I was like, "Oh, what am I supposed to harass these people until the end of time?" And then this is like 2 months before, which is when we found out the dingbat with the baby was knocked up. She goes, "Oh, maybe she has trauma in her background, and uh, you know, you shouldn't. I don't judge people who are struggling through their lives." Like, yeah, I'm so glad I cursed her out before I ended it. She deserved every bad word that was used and some more. Always an excuse for a woman, not for. It's like, think of how crazy this is. You sit there and you do all these classes. You have to study. You have to have all these, just this information, and it takes a level of skill to, like, that's something you have to do based off of your intellect. This other person just spreads their legs and, oh man, she's had a tough time probably. Jesus Christ. Like, if you want to feel empathy, feel empathy for a broad that has student loan debt up to the kazoo. There are a lot of them that have that, actually, because more chicks graduate than dudes, um, which does not make them smarter. Because I got another person who I'm gonna do a video on, show how dumb they are. No, if you want to feel empathy for a woman, feel empathy for one that is actually in a situation that is not desirable based off of, in spite of her attempts to change it or make it better. Feel empathy for a broad that's got 98 applications for a job filled out and then doesn't hear back from any of the people that they fill out the stuff for. Feel empathy for one of the broads that got laid off after working somewhere for years. Feel empathy for one of the broads that what's another example? That was in the military and lost a limb or has PTSD. Like, damn, I'm so tired of people who just spit out kids or do something else that's stupid, being able to get all this damn concern. Oh, I feel so bad for her. Always says, feel sorry for a woman who is trying her best to set a good standard and avoids drama filled issues. Yeah. Like, I'm not against feeling bad for someone if they actually deserve that. Like, they had this one article, not article, it was a YouTube video where they were talking about this broad that got murdered by her husband's lover, and I feel empathy for that particular woman because I don't think someone deserves to die because they are married to slaves. It was just not a situation where I could objectively see where she did anything to deserve the fate that she got. Okay, Urban World says, I'm not going to lie. I'm terrified of becoming successful, getting married, and having her take everything during divorce. And never sign a prenuptial agreement. Now, I know Megumi's not going to watch the Wikipedia video because I mean, I'm going to explain how the site works and the stuff that they do. Um, so even if you've never edited the site, I'll still break down the basic functions of it. For a job that will replace you in a week if you were to drop dead, take care of yourself. Isn't that how wrestling is too? They replace you right after releasing you. And didn't they just fire a bunch of people a month ago? Envoy, do you remember that stream where I showed um, You might not remember it. It was like I think I private or unlisted or something, but there was a stream I did where I showed me writing all this stuff, and then some guy just came and deleted a whole bunch of it. I would love to take like when the video's made, I'd love to have a copy of it and just put it everywhere, like put it on Vimeo and Dailymotion and BitChute and LiveLeak and X videos and Pornhub and just infect the whole website, the whole internet with it. Well, in the stream, I put the camera because I was on my phone to the screen of the computer and just showed all this stuff I wrote that these people got rid of. That not people, that one person got rid of. And that's the biggest problem with that site. As long as someone doesn't like what you wrote, they can get rid of it, unless you get people who defend your edit. So you got to like hope and pray when you put something on there. Please don't take it down, wiki gods. Imagine if that's how YouTube was, where if you post a video, you got to hope and pray. YouTube's like, nah. So somebody should give me 100. Not even that. Like, hell, I live with that website for 100 cents. But if they gave me 100,000, I'd never log on there again. I'm so tired of these websites. After Wikipedia, then Discord, then Twitter. That would be amazing. I already told you that the biggest issue for me is that if I ever do get six-figure salaries, where I'm not like automatically every chick I encounter, I'm going to think is a gold digger because like you can't show interest in someone after they've already made it. It's like, oh yeah, when you were I don't know, a fry cook or a janitor, I thought you were lame, but now that you have proof of being one of the wealthier people in the state, I am interested in you. No, man, if you're not a user on that site, I get where it doesn't appear that way because I've had people say they're surprised when I've mentioned the stories of the stuff they do on there. Magumi, it's like that website is run by a bunch of like imagine if I don't know, let me just give you an example. Magumi goes outside and he wants to paint his car red. And I tell Megumi, this neighborhood does not allow people to paint their car red. Megumi says, what the hell? And then he goes and takes pictures of the 15 or 20 red cars littered around the neighborhood. And then he says, well, if I can't paint my car red, how are all of these other cars that are painted red allowed to be around here? And then instead of me addressing what the hell Megumi, his counterpoint, I just ignore it and I'm like, you can't paint your car red. It violates our policy. That's what they do on that site where they'll tell you um, an article is too long, for example, and then you'll have articles on that site that are literally twice as big that they don't mess with. Nobody tries to cut down. Nobody says this is too long. Like that's weird. Whatever. Again. We'll get into them, and they're getting their day on Tuesday. I can't wait. I got all the screenshots, all this good script. Hey, you can delete my edits, but you can't delete this video. We're gonna spill the beans on this whole damn thing. This is gonna be great. It's cathartic because it's been a long time coming. They've been getting on my nerves to the point of me wanting to leave since at least 2016. Because before that, when I would get my stuff like yanked or whatever, I never felt disrespected. Like it always was a policy thing. And after that year, they've just been getting crazier with the stuff that they write. And I actually am going to show how there was a guy who got mad because I reverted, and I give the reason why I did it, one of his edits, and he sat on my page, so everybody has a user page. This dude wrote an essay talking trash about me. Your edits are crud. And I remember I was just sitting there like, what the hell? I was like, none of the mods are gonna come and say anything. We're just gonna let me be lambasted for my contributions to this website for several days. All right. None of the mods are gonna say, please, this is not good faith. This is an attack on this person. All right. So I said the mods are useless. They either delete your stuff or the other ones are these passive pussies that let the place get run to the ground. Yeah, that's correct. Doubt I'd buy a luxury car, but the house would be extremely big, like the Home Alone house. And you'd have a neighbor who never shows his face, or who only see half of his face. I'm just adjusting my camera to get the best angle of me. I remember I was in when I originally wrote the script for the Out of Your League video. I was actually bringing up the fact that it's so weird to me to see other men talking about my appearance. Like you're saying I don't look as good as the woman, but you're supposed to think that because you as a straight man are supposed to find the woman attractive and not the dude. At least sexually anyway. I mean, that's crazy. A sight for all of us to join on these topics. And then remember, I'm sexist, but they're not when they say that because they don't find me attractive. No woman at all ever will find me attractive. They have a insight into the vagina hive mind that they're claiming exists. They act like every dude that ever got a date looks exactly the same. Like it's all homogenized. People love making things that don't matter seem like a big deal. I mean, it's designed to, and I said in the video, to tear down the man. You got to make him feel bad so you can justify the stupid stuff that chicks are doing to him. Well, maybe if you were taller, you know. I remember they would say it to my best friend because he's 5'7", and I was like, I'm 6'2", and I'm in the same position as you, so it doesn't matter. You could be 8'11", and they would still they would still do this stupid stuff. Now they love playing that game. I don't personally find you attractive, so no one ever could find you attractive. Oh, thanks. Like I said, it's usually better when I write the script because there's a lack of stuttering. Now that Wikipedia video is going to be like 20 or 30 minutes long. I'm going to talk about all the little stupid stuff they've done on there. I'm going to show all the little screenshots of them acting crazy. I even have one of the users that's active on the site who wants to see it. So it's been a long time coming. Talking about we're going to delete your edit, but we think it's in good faith. Hey, well, good faith won't save you this time. I think I didn't even mention this, but there's actually a guy who deleted my stalker on there. He deleted an edit I had, and then he came to my page and was like, "Surely there are better ways to discuss this." And then I tried to say something to him, and then he deleted it. I'm like, how the hell do you get to comment on my page, but I can't comment on yours? So I'm talking about. They're weird. New camera. No, it's the same computer. I don't. New camera. New camera? Like, come on, give me a break. Looks the exact same. The quality is better. Well, damn, I didn't know you wanted to see every detail of my portrait, but I guess there you go. Should I do a little spin? Do a 360, get up and go around. I remember one of them was like pointing out that a lot of the why is it that some men find dates? Because if the woman thinks they're good enough for them, they go on a date with them. They don't make them jump through a billion hoops. Just like that dude I talked about who I said he didn't have a dollar in his pocket, or at least I know for a fact he's poorer than I am or whatever. The broad she was able to leech off of him for a whole year by having him pay for her storage unit, and then she paid him back with that triangle. That was how their love was made. I'm good. Let me write that line down I use. I like that line because every time they delete your stuff, they say, "Well, this edit was in good faith." It's like, yeah, good faith won't save you this time. I was using their little phrase against them. We'll put that in there somewhere. Yeah, you're calling yourself a straight shooter. No, they love saying when they would delete your stuff, "This was a good faith edit." It's like, yeah, it was so good faith that you got rid of the whole thing. This is that's the website of harassment and hypocrisy. Like when right before I left, I made an article that they literally have over 20 different articles just like that. And they're like, I don't see why we need this. I was floored. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, Wikipedia is getting what it gave. I agree. You wanted to have a user stalk me for 2 years and the rest of the mods wanted to act like pansies and not do anything. And then you get surprised when I leave. You get what you gave. And if you didn't give nice, you're not gonna get nice. No, I see those things where they beg for money. If everyone who saw this ad donated, this donation would be over in an hour or whatever. Like, how do you have a founder like Wales and he hates this website now so much he doesn't even give you guys the money to not have to show ads? I don't even know why they can't just show ads. That's what's weird. Like anybody can make a website. Please give us money. I'm gonna give them money while their users talk crazy to me and call my ads useless and crud and um, say I don't understand the website after I've been on there for 7 years and tell me I'm not going to last long after I've been on there for 6 years. I still can't get over that. Where that dude told me, I think it was early last year that I was not going to last there long, like referring to me getting upset by them doing some crazy crap. And I'm like, you can actually go check. I've been here since 2011. Damn, do I have to be here for 20 years to have quote unquote survived? Like it's weird. They just say stuff. Again, we'll get into full detail on Tuesday. Now, I had this other video rather, that I was gonna do some stuff for, but I'm probably not gonna finish all the pieces I would like. Um, Although I might probably do it because I do have most of the script written for it, but I want to do my parts where I'm on camera. So it might get made, it might not, depending on what's available and what isn't. Also, I'm deliberately keeping it a surprise because I don't want to do like the other ones where I announce it and then it doesn't come out for a month or a week or whatever the hell. So that's the reason for that. Please give us money while we treat you like trash on our stupid website. Hey, Wikipedia. We need more donations because if we don't get donations, we have to start putting ads on our site. It worked for YouTube. If you don't give us a couple of pennies a week, we're gonna go broke. Like, no, you're not. You just put some ads on there. We don't care. They act like if you put an ad on there, the site is ruined or it's weird. We would like our information to be free. It is free. Free to harass. Way the people act on there. Chicago is horrible. Mountain News is showing that a 15-year-old was shot to death. Yeah, people get murdered there every day and nobody cares. I mean, I mentioned that a few times when I was getting into putting up regular stuff on here. I mentioned it a few times and got called all kind of weird names. I just said to hell with them. You're more upset at me than the people who are actually killing each other. All I did was talk about it in the video, and you come over here and write a whole novel. You're trying to shift focus to something else. Like, no, ho, you're whatever. Have fun. Hey, Slum Digger, stop writing anything because he's trying to figure out if the camera is new or not. He's like, hmm. It's like, I can't tell. Maybe he did get a new one, or maybe it's the same one. I'll never know. No, these websites. I guess I don't really see what I'm doing as any different than when people would make YouTube rants, except I'm actually gonna show where the people on that site do things that don't relate with what's actually on the site. So I gotta say, it's been pretty annoying to have to go and dig through some of the stuff just because I don't like being reminded of all of the BS I put up with. Like when I see, oh, this person deleted my thing and they wrote that it was crud or whatever the hell. Like I don't really like looking at that, but I'm gonna look at this. Will be my last time looking at any of this stuff, and then that's it. So that's their final hurrah. They get upset for someone saying how it is versus the people who actually did what's being frowned upon. Well, remember, rhetoric matters more than what people actually do. I got told by a Christian person that I was going to hell because I used the term church crap, which I only used because their decision to go to church was interfering with something that directly affected my day. It wasn't just me attacking some person who's religious. But I said, I'm going to hell, not the drug dealers, the rapists, the child molesters, the serial killers, the terrorists. They all go to heaven. But because I used the term that your boy in the sky didn't like, oh, I deserve the electric chair. It's just so I said I'm done. I don't bother talking to any of these people. They just say stupid stuff when they get upset. You're going to hell because you said something God doesn't like. Oh, what about the people that actually murder people? Oh, well, as long as they didn't say anything he didn't like, they get to go to heaven. They get to sit in the cloud city. They get angel wings and the halo. You get burned by Satan from head to toe. They get to play games like tennis and ping pongs while you burn away for your sins and wrongs. That of saying something someone didn't like. You deserve your face to have it hit with a spike. Like it's just they're stupid. But yeah, I'm gonna go probably in like a minute or two. So any final comments, let me know. Or hold your peace until tomorrow. Any commentary, things that need to be said, things that can be left unaddressed. This is the time to say them. I remember this one teacher I had. He was telling us about, yeah, I know what to do about the virus urban world. He was telling us about he saw this chick and this dude making out in the hallway, and he said the way they were making out, you would think the guy was going to war tomorrow. Just these ridiculous public display, like so unnecessary, over the top public displays of affection. Like you want to hold hands with somebody, whatever, but like, damn, got you bent all against the wall, and my hand is right here, and yours is on my back, and it's weird. So I said I'm just surrounded by a bunch of just crazy people thanks to the internet, and they're on every website. But it is what it is. So uh, I appreciate the attendance. Stream started off kind of slow. I'm glad some more people showed up, and I'll be doing a stream tomorrow at some time, probably in the early afternoon. So see you later.